lot of people have been ignoring what's been happening over just the last couple weeks. But if we really look at what's been going on, a lot of the focus is on stable coins. We actually have here, you're telling me that in 1 week, Stripe launched stablecoins in 100 plus countries. Ramp launched stablecoin cards. Superstate launched on-chain equities. Robinhood is building their own crypto platform, biggest deal in crypto history. Coinbase and Deribit. Meta is back in the stablecoin game. Ethereum shipped a massive upgrade. Bitcoin ripped through $100,000. Wake up, fam. Internet capital markets are being built in real time. And it's pretty damn cool. And yeah, guys, there's been a lot happening in this space, and if you blink, you might actually miss a lot, and it's kind of crazy, but, you know, things are only accelerating more and more and more. And I will have to say, in just the last 5 months, we have witnessed more and probably way bigger updates around this space than we have witnessed since going all the way back to, like, we're going to say 5 years. So in just 5 months, we have witnessed more announcements, way bigger announcements in the past 5 years. And I do think that a lot of this definitely has to do with the anti-crypto, push from the SEC and things like that, that really kind of slowed down a lot of this innovation. So now we're just seeing it all pouring all at once. But this is actually very exciting. Now, on topic with this, right, we go over here to Brad Garlinghouse because he recently did highlight what Scott Bent recently did say, and he has here, stable coins are exploding globally for their real-world applications. The sheer amounts of recent announcements across crypto, fintech, and traditional finance should indicate as such. The sooner that the US can pass workable, clear rules, the faster it reaps the benefits of this technology. Now, if you guys did miss what Scott did put out, he said, for stablecoins and other digital assets to thrive globally, the world needs American leadership. The Senate missed an opportunity to provide that leadership today by failing to advance the Genius Act. If you guys did miss it, yes, they delayed the Genius Act. This bill represents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to expand dollar dominance and U.S. influence in financial innovation. Without it, stablecoins will be subject to a patchwork of state regulations instead of a streamlined federal framework that is more conducive to growth and competitiveness. The world is watching while American lawmakers twiddle their thumbs. Senators who voted to stonewall U.S. ingenuity today face a simple choice. Either step up and lead or watch digital asset innovation move offshore. There's no, other option here. We need this to happen in the U.S. because if it doesn't, it's only going to accelerate outside of the U.S. But this is a huge update, and it's a huge vote of confidence for a lot of these great stablecoin initiatives that are starting to launch in this space. Of course, Roasty definitely does come to mind. In fact, it's probably like the first thing that, came to my mind, including, of course, a lot of your minds. Now we also have over here from Monica Long, it was great to join stablecoin with TriRamp and on stage at Stripe Sessions today, discussing why businesses can't ignore stablecoins. Now this is coming at the same exact time that Stripe just launched stablecoins in 100 plus countries. We'll talk about that here in a second. A few lessons we've learned over the years. Number one, blockchain payments need connectivity to local rails, and connectivity depends on bank partners having regulatory comfort and clarity. We're in a starkly better place now than 2 years ago. Two, it's appealing but very challenging to be a software-only provider, hence why we have 60 licenses and counting. 3, stablecoins need liquidity across global currencies to compete with traditional FX markets. The next industry challenge, which by the way, they're trying to solve with Hidden Road, right? The acquisition, it's focused on FX markets. We also know that Ripple will most likely launch additional stablecoin initiatives outside of ROSD. We'll start to see RO Yen, RO Euro, RO Pound, things like that. But what's crazy to me is a lot has changed in this space. That's why I said we have witnessed more updates and bigger updates in the last 5 months than the past prior 5 years, which is just crazy to me. And it just shows you what could happen if we start to see the acceptance of innovation and this type of technology as well. I mean, right now we must get behind this technology. If we don't, we do risk it moving offshore. And I do think that now is the time to act. But on top of this, we also have from Stablecoin Insider, Stablecoin update May of 2025. After tracking the latest, a lot of people have been ignoring what? Here are a few insights worth sharing. Ripple's USD is gaining real momentum, especially in cross-border use cases as their legal battle with the SEC leans in their favor. Tron has quickly become the top chain for stablecoin transfer speed, and low fees are paying off. GoldStay, a new gold-backed stablecoin on Polygon, could be a game changer in unstable economies. Of course, the Genius Act did have a delay. Meanwhile, a rising stablecoin trading volume suggests growing liquidity and market confidence. Something's shifting quietly but clearly. What do you think about this? And yeah, things are starting to move quickly. And ROUSD itself is gaining a lot more momentum around it. And it is becoming a much bigger piece of the stable coin market. Let's go back to Stripe, right? Let's actually look at this because this is huge. In fact, this is probably one of the biggest updates that we've seen around stable coins because Stripe has over 200,000 plus followers, 250K plus. And they are a massive e-com giant. In fact, I use Stripe every single day around business. And it's like one of the biggest e-com payment processing companies out there. So the fact that they're now introducing stablecoin financial accounts, this is a game changer. And this is hold a stablecoin balance, send and receive funds with fiat and crypto rails accessible from 101 countries. And they actually show us here exactly how this will work. And you can see USDC, the fact that we're starting to see growing acceptance and adoption like this from names like Stripe. It just goes to show you that we're getting closer to mass adoption. We have here 500 million plus API requests per day, peaking at 13,000 requests per second. The uptime as well. 90% of US adults have bought from businesses using Stripe, 135 plus currencies and payment methods supported as well. So again, Stripe is it's a giant. It's an absolute giant. And on top of that, if we actually go over here to Stripe's Wikipedia page, we could see that they process over $1.4 trillion in payment volume. Back in 2024, they just did this $1.4 trillion in payment volume. Imagine that moving over crypto rails. This is a future that we're ushering into. This is extremely exciting. Now also we have over here from Matt Hugan from Bitwise. Stocks are going to move on-chain much faster than people think. In the last 24 hours, Robinhood announced plans for a service that would let Europeans trade US stocks on Solana and or Arbitrum. SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce gave a speech about allowing stocks to be issued, traded, and settled on blockchains. And Superstate announced opening Bell, a platform allowing companies to issue and trade tokenized shares on Ethereum and Solana. The train is leaving the station. This is a very big announcement. The fact that we are starting to see updates like this, combined with all of these updates, it just goes to show you how massive the adoption phase of crypto is becoming. And by the way, when we are thinking about Robinhood, we immediately go back to Ripple. Why? Well, because Robinhood is now developing a blockchain network for European retail investors to trade tokenized US securities. Okay, this is huge. But let's actually think about this. Robinhood is set to acquire Bitstamp this year. We know that this is most likely going to be announced this year. Back in the summertime of 2024. On top of that, we know that Ripple's XRP ledger is set to boost Bitstamp's new derivatives exchange. This is also going to be launching sometime around, the second or third quarter of 2025. All of this is aligned with what Robinhood is trying to do here. On top of that, we also know that Robinhood's Cryptog was recently on that crypto task force from the SEC round, talking about the future of tokenization. specifically moving assets on chain. When we think about that and we're thinking about this exchange, this new derivatives exchange could easily be what Robinhood is planning to launch. But on top of that, it wasn't just Robinhood included on that tokenization round. It was Wall Street, BlackRock, CK, Fidelity, NASDAQ, Franklin Templeton, Robinhood. Like, these are the names tied back to this tokenization round. Now also Vladi, the CEO and co-founder of Robinhood, back in March, did say that we have 245 trading right now. 247 trading will likely need to be on the blockchain. Here we have from Yahoo Finance back in March, 247 trading is going to be tough with traditional infrastructure. This is what Vladnev participants are prepared for it. I think that there's going to be some changes. We have 245 right now through 24-hour market at Robinhood, and it's been complicated to set up. I think that's a reason why not a lot of other people are doing it. Robinhood was early and pretty much alone for a long time. 247 is going to be tough with traditional infrastructure, but if we think about tokenization, that's one of the advantages for both retail and institutional consumers if we move in that direction, which is that blockchains run 247. It's just software. You don't depend on, central brick and mortar clearinghouses or transfer agents or any other entities for settlement is. So yeah, 247 will not be on traditional infrastructure. It will be on blockchain. It will be on DT. And this is exactly why we look at what's been ongoing behind the scenes for crypto and for blockchain and the adoption happening around tokenization initiatives, because, tokenizing stock markets, putting them on chain will allow for 24/7 trading. And even the NASDAQ recently announced this, right? Like, the NASDAQ was talking about, tapping into blockchain and launching I think it was 245. I'm pretty sure that they said 245 in 2026. From that point on, it will pretty much lead into the discussion of 24/7. And I think that that's where we start to really move away from traditional infrastructure. But look at the names that recently announced that they're tapping into blockchain and tokenization initiatives. Anyways, the DTCC, SWIFT, major banks, the institutional adoption of crypto itself is already ongoing. Yeah, big players like Franklin Templeton, for an example, tokenizing, BlackRock high tokenizing, Fidelity tapped in on tokenization services as well. So when we're thinking about what's really going on here, some of the biggest moves are happening from outside of the space that are now tapping into the space. So Web 2 converging with Web 3. It's happening, it's accelerating, and I also think that Ripple is right at the center point of all of this, as well as they typically always are. And think about what we continue to see happening around the XRP ledger, for an example, MPTs, right? So the multi-purpose tokens is a new token standard on the XRP ledger. This is posted by VetX0, currently has about 27 out of, if we actually look this, so it's 27 yays, 8 nays. We have here that 29 yes votes for activation time is the big focus. So we need 2 more here. And on top of that, we have from VET that MPTs are perfect for RWA tokenization. Think of T-bills, equity and debt funds, etc. Curious how toll value locked will look like from there on. And yeah, we need this. The second that this does get passed through, I do question on how fast the market on the XRP ledger will erupt around tokenization initiatives, because we even heard from Jasmine Cooper, who is the head of product at Ripple X. She's explaining RWA tokenization and how Ripple is enabling institutions to tokenize on the XRP ledger with multi-purpose tokens and much more. Big shout to Tony Edward for this, Thinking Crypto one. But listen to what Jasmine Cooper is talking about here when, she's addressing MPTs and why this amendment is so crucial, especially if we're thinking about the Bitstamp acquisition from Robinhood and the derivatives exchange that BISM was, looking to launch. So tokenization, is kind of the beginning of the life cycle for any sort of on-chain finance. So if you want to do stable coin payments, you first need stable coins. If you want to do real estate investment diversification, you first need an on-chain real estate token or something along those lines. So tokenization is really the beginning of everything when it comes to RWA and institutional DeFi. We're really just trying to increase the utility and lower barriers to entry for institutions. So one proposal we put out recently is called multi-purpose tokens. You can think of that along the lines of a semi-fundable token. That standard allows for developers and token issuers to attach metadata directly to the token object on chain versus the traditional or legacy fungible token on the XRP ledger. So by allowing a standalone object, this is better for, say, a bond where you want to store the terms and the duration, the interest rate on that on-chain object. So we're really trying to look at these use cases and make sure we have the building blocks and the standards to best support them and give a best-in-class experience when they bring TRFI onto blockchain. And if we're thinking about this, right, stocks and bonds were the main thing that Monica Long said that she's focused on going for. Why?